Hello, and welcome. Today we're covering everything from a former aide to New York's governor facing serious federal charges to Russia's latest move on the global stage. Let's dive right in. First up, breaking news from New York. Linda Sun, a former deputy chief of staff to Governor Kathy Hochul, has been arrested on federal charges for allegedly acting as an undisclosed agent of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. The charges against Sun are extensive, including violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, visa fraud, alien smuggling, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Her husband, Chris Hu, is also implicated in these serious accusations. So, what exactly did Sun and her husband do? According to the charges, Sun used her influential position within the New York State Executive Chamber to covertly promote CCP interests. This included manipulating state messaging, blocking Taiwanese government representatives, and arranging unauthorized meetings between Chinese officials and New York state authorities. The couple allegedly received millions of dollars in financial benefits, which they laundered to purchase luxury properties, including a $4.1 million estate in Manhasset, New York, and a $2.1 million condo in Honolulu, Hawaii, along with a brand new 2024 Ferrari. FBI Acting Assistant Director Curtis highlighted the severity of this case, stating that Sun's actions directly threatened national security by covertly promoting foreign agendas. The FBI is determined to protect American citizens from such influence operations by foreign entities. Over to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, where the war has taken a dark and deadly turn. Both pro-Ukrainian and pro-Russian military bloggers are reporting that both sides are now using FPV drones equipped with thermite canisters to burn tree lines where soldiers are positioned in trenches. This represents a new and terrifying tactic in the war. Drones have already played a significant role in the conflict, often armed with grenades and bombs. But the use of thermite canisters, which burn at incredibly high temperatures, is unprecedented. This development has prompted countries like the United States and China to invest in counter-drone technology, while also spurring the creation of more sophisticated drones to execute similar tactics. Back in the United States, a major federal initiative to connect rural communities to high-speed internet is under fire. Senior presidential advisor Tom Perez faced tough questions after Federal Communications Commissioner Brendan Carr claimed that the $42.5 billion allocated for this project has yet to result in a single project being initiated or a single home being connected to broadband, despite the program being rolled out 3 years ago. Carr previously criticized the initiative, saying that not even a single shovel of dirt has been turned towards connecting people. The delay has been attributed to near impossible requirements for obtaining the funds, such as climate change mandates, preferences for hiring union workers, and the prioritization of hiring justice-impacted individuals with criminal records to install the broadband equipment. With 19 states already having received over $1 billion each, this is a developing story that could have significant implications for the Biden administration. Russian President Vladimir Putin has made his first visit to a member country of the International Criminal Court, ICC, since the court issued a warrant for his arrest on charges of war crimes in Ukraine. Despite Ukraine's calls for Mongolia to detain Putin and hand him over to the ICC, Mongolia has declined to act, citing its dependence on Russia for fuel and China for investment. Putin's visit to Mongolia, where he's meeting with President Ukhnaa Kurelsuk and attending a ceremony commemorating the 1939 victory of Soviet and Mongolian troops over Japan, underscores Mongolia's complex geopolitical position. While ICC member countries are obliged to detain suspects with arrest warrants, the court lacks an enforcement mechanism to ensure compliance, leaving Mongolia in a difficult position that could strain its relationships with Western nations and the ICC. In Ukraine, a Russian missile strike on a military institute in Poltava has become the deadliest attack of the war so far this year. At least 50 people have been killed and 271 others injured after a ballistic missile hit the Military Institute of Communications during a session. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack, calling for an investigation and vowing that those responsible would be held accountable. With rescue operations still ongoing, this tragic event highlights the escalating brutality of the conflict as both sides continue to engage in cross-border assaults. In a significant geopolitical move, Turkey has officially requested to join the BRICS group, a coalition of major emerging market nations led by Russia and China. This marks the first time a NATO member has sought entry into BRICS, positioning itself as a counterbalance to the Western-led global order. Turkey's interest in BRICS stems from frustrations over its stalled bid to join the European Union and challenges in its relationship with Western allies, particularly the United States. However, Turkish officials stress that this move does not signify a break with traditional alliances, but rather an effort to enhance its global influence in a multipolar world. In Venezuela, authorities have issued an arrest warrant for oppositional presidential candidate Edmundo González just over a month after a disputed presidential election. González faces multiple charges, including forgery, incitement of disobedience, and conspiracy. The election, in which President Nicolás Maduro claimed a narrow victory, has been widely contested, with the opposition rejecting the results and accusing Maduro of rigging the election. The situation has led to widespread protests and a criminal investigation into González and other opposition leaders, further destabilizing the already tense political climate in Venezuela. Novo Nordisk's CEO Lars Fruergaard Jørgensen has come out defending the high cost of the company's popular weight loss drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy, in the U.S., ahead of a Senate committee hearing on drug pricing. Jørgensen argues that these drugs ultimately save taxpayers money by reducing obesity-related healthcare costs, which amount to over $400 billion annually in the U.S. However, critics like Senator Bernie Sanders aren't convinced, pointing out the stark price differences between the U.S. and other countries. While Wegovy costs $2,300 a month in the U.S., it's priced significantly lower in countries like the U.K. and Denmark. Jørgensen attributes the high cost to the complexities of the U.S. healthcare system, but acknowledges the need for policy change to address these disparities. And finally, the U.S. Department of Justice has seized a plane allegedly purchased illegally by Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. The Dassault Falcon 900EX, valued at $13 million, was seized in the Dominican Republic and flown to Florida. The DOJ claims the aircraft was purchased through a shell company in violation of U.S. sanctions and used by Maduro as Venezuela's Air Force One. This seizure is part of ongoing efforts by the U.S. to impose consequences on Maduro for his role in a Venezuelan drug trafficking organization, with a $15 million reward still in place for his arrest. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.